Hi guys, in this module we're going to be covering Amazon terminology, all the different Amazon acronyms that a private label seller just has to know. Let's start with FBA, also known as Fulfillment by Amazon, or as we usually just say, Amazon FBA. The Fulfillment by Amazon is a program where you send your products to an FC, Amazon Fulfillment Center, and Amazon packages and ships out the products when they sell to the customers. This program has additional FBA fees, which depend on the size tier of the product. The FBA program lets you concentrate on sales and offer 2-day shipping, which increases conversion and which increases customer trust because people see that the products will be shipped by Amazon. Amazon also takes care of all the customer support, so you don't have to answer customer emails and messages regarding the shipment, which trust me a lot when you are doing high volumes. We will talk about FBA more in depth in another module. FC is a fulfillment center, so basically Amazon warehouse where Amazon stores all the products. FBM is a fulfillment by merchant program, also known as MF, merchant fulfilled. This acronym simply refers to when the merchant is sending products directly to the customers. So this could be you sending your products yourself or partnering up with a 3PL, third-party logistics service, that have their own warehouse and they would ship the products for you. So a 3PL is a third-party warehouse, a third-party company that would be doing the same as FBA, but you're not buying the services from Amazon. In some cases that could be cheaper and you're not solely relying on Amazon to fulfill your orders. ASIN is an Amazon standard identification number. This number is the same for that exact product globally. So you could have your different UPCs, EAN codes, GTIN codes, but the ASIN is what Amazon provides, no matter if you have another identification number or not. So on Amazon platform globally, in the US, in Europe, etc., you will be using the ASIN. SKU is a stock keeping unit. So it's a string of numbers and letters, your own categorizing system. So you create your own SKU system. And SKU is basically an offer to the ASIN. So an ASIN, it's a listing. It's your product card. It's what the customers see. The SKU, in a way, it's your offer. So your price, your shipping method, and all the sales that you do. So you could have multiple SKUs for the same ASIN. So for example, if you're doing FBM and FBA, you could have 2 SKUs for the same ASIN. FNSKU, it's a fulfillment network stock keeping unit. And now it's getting a bit more confusing because now the FNSKU is only for the FBA and it's a separate string of numbers and letters only for when you send your products to Amazon warehouse. So they provide their own labels. So they provide you Amazon labels and the fulfillment network uses this particular number to identify your particular product. So the FNSKU, it depends on your SKU. So you could have different SKUs, which would mean you have different FNSKUs. UPC is a universal product code. So 12-digit number displayed with the barcode on the vast majority of retail products. And usually we use UPCs in the US, but they are universal. In Europe, we use INs, so European article number, so it's a 13-digit number for identifying retail products. It really depends where you are, and it doesn't matter which identification number you take on. If you're starting your Amazon business and you don't have an identification number for your products, that's not a problem for Amazon. Amazon has a GTIN exception program where we'll talk about it as well in this course. But when you apply for that program, you don't really need any other identification units. ISBN, International Standard Book Number. So also it's a similar identification number, but this one is for the books. Moving on. SS, seller support. So Amazon, they have support for the sellers. It's not as similar or the same as customer support. So there are different people working on it, but there are a lot of different teams in this particular seller support, which is dedicated to help sellers sell better or more or less solve different programs. We will talk in the course on how to properly understand seller support and how to properly communicate with them so your problems get solved quicker. BB, Buy box. I personally don't use the shorter version, the BB, just saying buy box. And basically buy box refers to the sellers associated with the add a cart button on any Amazon product detail page. So generally your SKU, your offer could be winning the buy box. And if there are multiple sellers, they all have different offers, and the best offer would win the buy box. And when the customer adds to cart or presses buy now, they would buy from the seller that is winning the buy box. BSR, best sellers rank. Now, you will hear a lot about the best sellers rank in Facebook groups, and when doing product research, everyone is saying, look for products in this particular best sellers rank and look for products in this particular best sellers rank. Or for example, when you're launching a product, or relaunching a product, everyone's saying you have to get your BSR higher. So the best sellers rank, it's basically just a ranking system for every single category. So, you could have beauty, you could have toys and games category, you could have automotive. So there are different categories. So you have a rank from 1 to, tens of thousands, right? So if you're doing more sales than others in your main category, your bestsellers rank is higher than theirs. And that's pretty much, it doesn't make your product sell more. You could be, in top 50, or you could be, in top 100. It doesn't really make much difference unless you're the best and you have the badge, bestsellers badge, which would increase your conversion. But the bestsellers rank is just a ranking system for how many sales you're doing compared to others in your main category. OOS, I personally use this quite a lot because it's just easier to type it out in 3 letters in Facebook groups. So out of stock. So this is what happens, when you sell everything you have in your warehouses and your listing, it's not available for sale anymore. So out of stock. MAP, minimum advertised price. So this is the price that you agree not to list below when you purchase a product from a wholesaler or a distributor. So if you're a private label seller, this will not really concern you as much. But if you are, let's say a distributor or exclusive distributor, you might have a MAP, minimum advertised price, agreed on with your distributors and wholesalers. You might agree on, lower prices if you're doing like one-day promotions or stuff like that. But usually you have the MAP, or in this case, what we have, MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price, aka RRP, recommended retail price. In reality, these are the same things. MSRP and RRP is just what is the normal price of the product if there are no discounts, if you go to a store and you see it, RRP, recommended retail price, or what your manufacturer suggests the price should be. Cost of goods sold, or sometimes we just use, for Amazon, we use landed COGS, right? So how much did it cost to get the product to Amazon warehouse or to get the product to its final destination? So all the shipping, all the fees, all the other taxes included. But cost of goods sold, it's simply how much did it cost to produce those goods. MOQ, you will hear this quite often when sourcing the product. So it's minimum order quantity, and it kind of explains itself. So minimum amount of the product you have to order for the manufacturer to actually fulfill your order. We have the landed cost of goods. It should have been higher. But yeah, like I said, landed cost of goods, it's just how much your product actually costs in the end to get it to the final destination. All the manufacturing cost, all the inspection costs, all the shipping and everything. ROI, return on investment. So how much return you got on your initial investments or your investment. Sometimes you can see sometimes ROII, so ROI, double I's, return on your initial investment. So it depends what you say, right? But generally, if you invest $1 and you get back $1.50, your ROI was 150%. And in Amazon private label product sourcing, we tend to shoot for products with a minimum of 150 ROI. So you wouldn't have that much cash flow problems. Or, you could find products that have like 50% ROI, which is terrible. But if there is no competition and you're good with your cash and you do have additional cash to invest in the stock, that might be good as well. But normally we shoot for 150% ROI. Q4, fourth quarter of the year. So October, November, December, this is the best quarter of the year for most sellers, especially if you're selling toys or something giftable for Christmas. And you may also see Q1, Q2, Q3. So it's the quarters of the year separated in 3 months. PPC, pay-per-click. And we do usually refer to general Amazon advertising as only Amazon PPC. So we're just saying, are you doing PPC, right? So are you doing pay-per-click? So are you advertising your products on Amazon? Or if you're not speaking in the Amazon context or situation, you could be speaking about Google's pay-per-click, because in Google you do pay-per-click. In Facebook, you don't really pay-per-click. Usually you pay for impressions, but in our world, we are referring to Amazon advertising. ACOS or ACOS, advertising cost of sales. So this is a percentage amount of how much did it cost you from your advertising sales. So if I spend $15 for $100 of sales, so the $15 I spent on ads, they brought in directly $100 of sales. So my ACOS would be 15%. Usually in Amazon, the very, very general number is 30% ACOS. So when you're advertising and you have 30% ACOS, usually this is the average, the medium for private label. I mean, if you're selling supplements, your ACOS would probably be about 40-50%. If you're selling something very, very niche, you could even have like 10% ACOS or 5% ACOS. And then we have TACOS, true advertising cost of sales, aka TACOS, right? You could see R ACOS, so real ACOS, but in Amazon community, we prefer to say TACOS because it just makes things more fun, right? So you always have to have fun. So TACOS is when you're calculating your advertising cost from all the sales, right? So you're not looking for direct sales only from advertising, but from all the sales. So for example, if in total you spend $15 on advertising and you made $200 in all the sales, so your ACOS would be like 7.5%. I'm not sure if I did the math correctly, but you get the idea, right? So if you're, let's take the same example, it's much easier. If you spend on ads $15 and all of your sales, not only from advertising, but all your sales are 15%, then your TACOS is 15%. Usually with established brands on Amazon, we tend to seek about 10 to 12% TACOS. And if your TACOS is like 5%, that usually is too low, and that means you might be missing on additional opportunities for higher sales. So sometimes you can be underspending on advertising, which would seem short term that it's good for your profits, but sometimes it's better to have lower profit margin percentage but higher sales, which would result in higher net profit. So keep that in mind. Moving on, SP, sponsored products. So Amazon has different types of advertisements, and the main one is sponsored products. SB, sponsored brands. You can only use this when you have brand registry. Sponsored display, SD. SBV, sponsored brands video, or sometimes we just call it video in search. A+, previously ABC, enhanced brand content. So you will see both of them sometimes, and I'm not sure why Amazon really changed it. So previously it was enhanced brand content, now just A+ content. So this is an additional description where you can include more images, where you can include different modules under your listing. So it's a second option to sell your product. If you have Launchpad, Amazon Launchpad program, or if just have secret benefits from Amazon, you could get the premium A+ content. And the premium A+ content allows you to have videos in there, allows you to have more interactive modules, allows you to have bigger modules. And to compare, normal A+, it usually increases your conversion by 5%. Premium A+ increases your conversion by 20%. And if you want to take a look at some examples, search iPhone 12 and you will see what premium A+ looks like. SC, Seller Central. So 95% or 99% of you are going to be using Seller Central platform to sell your products and to interact with your listings. And this is the interface of all the Amazon stuff. VC is Vendor Central. So if you're selling your products to Amazon and Amazon sells your products to the customers, then you would be using a Vendor Central. So you would be in a vendor program. Us sellers, we don't sell our products to Amazon. We sell our products directly to consumers. So our business model is B2C. Vendors' business model is B2B. Seller feedback. So this is the feedback, and these are the reviews about the seller specifically. And a customer can buy a product from you and you might be lacking your shipping, or you did a poor job in customer service, or they were just unhappy. They can leave you bad feedback on the seller and it's going to stay with you unless you manage to remove it. Or if they are happy, they're going to leave a good feedback. Usually we can remove 95% of negative feedback. If you're doing FBA, Amazon really removes most of the feedback. So you just have to monitor that you have 5 stars, and over time it really picks up. And not a lot of sellers actually see the feedback. Not a lot of buyers see the feedback, but it does add to additional trustworthy of the seller if you're selling something more pricey and not impulsive. Review. So this is the feedback of the product. So there could be like hundreds of sellers selling the same product, but all the reviews about the product, specifically about the product, are being left on that ASIN, on that product. So you could have another seller selling your product and they could be selling something fake, and customer could leave a bad review, and there is not much you can actually do about that. Front end, back end. So it's not true terms to Amazon, but that's basically how I like to call them. So front end, it's everything that the customer can see. So all the reviews, all the images, enhanced brand content, bullet points, descriptions, titles, price, all that stuff. Backend, or it should be called metadata or meta descriptions. So the backend is what the customers don't see, but what the Amazon algorithm sees, which are backend search terms, which are different kinds of filters, which is compliance information and all that other stuff. In reality, the backend of Amazon, it's what the programmers use. It's the API. It's all the stuff you as a seller can't even do and see. But to simplify things, we call the backend everything in the listing what the customer doesn't see. And our final acronym is a VA. So it's a virtual assistant. If you're a private label seller and you scale your business, one of the first tasks you will want to outsource to a virtual assistant is probably customer support, or your advertising, or just some small tasks that need to be doing, data collection, Excel sheets. A VA is someone who's working remotely from their own desktop. It's not an employee, so you are paying hourly for the actual hours spent. And for Amazon businesses, this is a very, very good option to scale easier and faster. So you can hire a VA who will help you basically in the manual tedious tasks that need to be done in your business. And you as a business owner, private label business, you can focus on expanding that business, on looking into more ideas, finding new ways to increase the sales, and searching for launching new products and focusing on operational things. So this is going to be it for this module. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned all that you needed from the terminology and acronyms. There will be additional files, more acronyms if you're interested in not only Amazon acronyms but general in business. And it's just good to know these things just so you can communicate easier with other sellers and other entrepreneurs that are in this space. So thank you again for listening, and let's move on to the next one.